Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nikki Vo, and I'm your host. I am a boat owner, a marina owner, a director on the Marina Industries Association, and a huge advocate for boating. In this series, I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous. It's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there, enjoying the waterways. So let's set off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. Welcome to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. I have one of my favourite firecracker women from the boating industry in front of me. She has actually been on our podcast before, but only for a very short interview at boat shows. So now we're going to talk to her at greater length about her new business and all the exciting things she's up to, because she's already changed her role since we spoke to her last time, and it is her own business, which is super exciting. Well, for a lot of the boating industry, I would suggest. So, Nona Pederson, welcome to the Boat Princess podcast.
Hello, Nikki. It is great to be here again, and I'm excited to be able to talk about something new.
Oh, it's very exciting.
It is.
So, Nona, if you haven't noticed by now, you have noticed by now, is from New Zealand. And she is visiting us here in Sydney this week. She is currently the joint CEO of YESSSS. How did that name come about, Nona?
Yes. And so the name came about, it was something that was very positive. My name is actually Nona, which is a double negative. So I feel like that's very positive, and I'm a positive person. But it became a little bit of a fun thing that we were talking about. Why does the company exist? What is the reason for it? What's the purpose? And it's all about helping other companies have their yes moment. So when you're winning, when you're having success, when you're experiencing satisfaction, you tend to say yes. And so that's where the name of the business came from.
That's simple. I love that.
Yep.
That's cool. So you're joint CEO with Chris Baird.
Yes.
In this business. And lots of small businesses start because we see a problem and we want to solve that problem, right? So that's what yours has. I'm assuming that's what you did.
Absolutely. So throughout my career, I was fortunate to be able to grow with a business. And when you start off really small, you tend to have to rely on a lot of different agencies or consultants because you cannot have that resource internally. And being a marketing person, we used a lot of marketing agencies, and some were great and most weren't. And I definitely noticed the issues that we were facing were these agencies out there, while they had great creative and great ideas, they just didn't understand the marine industry. They didn't understand what boaters want, what they need, what the boating industry needs, what our distributors and our dealers need. And they just didn't get it. And so I'd end up spending a lot of time and money trying to have to bring them back to what we really needed and bring them on track. And what I realized was I could actually do it myself. It's a lot more work, but it meant that at least we got what we needed. And so when we started YESSSS, we were really looking at this gap in the marine industry, which was what if we could provide marketing services or business development services to companies that don't have that internally, or need to do something new, like launch a new product, but their team is already maxed out. They're already really busy. And you talk to anyone, they are really busy. And so when you start talking about, okay, we need to launch a new product, or we have to do a boat show, or we know we need to start a new social media channel, a lot of the times they go, how are we going to fit this in? How are we going to do it? And they go to other marketing agencies and other providers out there, and they, again, did what we did, was spent a lot of time briefing them, trying to get them to understand boating. Usually you get an account manager whose dad may have took him fishing once when he was 6 years old. and that's what you get. And nothing wrong with them. I mean, those agencies, they do a great job. But if you could provide a company with a tailored marine-specific service, and that makes life easier for them, it makes life easier for us, then why not? So that's why YESSSS was born.
There you go. And I also think, I mean, we know, you and I both know that the boating industry is male-centric, but it's also mature-centric. And they don't necessarily understand a lot of the marketing techniques that are out there now. They sort of say, oh, it's a podcast, right? And,
Yep.
and here we are doing some really successful podcasts, right? So I think you've tapped into a little market there that's quite, it's niche, but at the same time, it's actually quite big.
Absolutely. With marketing, it depends on, someone says to you, I need help with my marketing, but it's like saying, how long is a piece of string? There is so much to it, and you can go down rabbit holes or you can be really focused. And so for us, we can take our experience, our knowledge and understanding of the marine industry, look at what our client needs and say, you might want to do a TikTok page, but you don't have to do one. You're actually better off putting your efforts and your resources into something else, but then also making sure that you're executing it properly. So for us, we completely understand that a lot of our clients don't get the marketing as such.
Yeah.
And for them, sometimes they're just starting out. They're like, oh, we've got a website and we have a Facebook that hasn't been touched in years. And for us, we're like, great, you've done something.
Yeah.
And that's a good baseline for us to build on. And we don't need to create this massive, crazy marketing plan with $1 million marketing budget. We can do something really smart. One of our taglines is to do more with less. So we understand that you can spend a lot of money on marketing or you can spend a little bit. And so we're all about how to get the most bang for your buck and where we can really be targeted and focused where the target audience is. Where are your customers going for information? They may be in, on Facebook, or they may actually still be wanting to read your traditional magazines. So it's where are they spending their time? Where are they learning? Who are they getting the information from? And positioning yourself there.
And of course, as the former General Manager of PropSpeed, you know that boating client very, very well, don't you? So you know how all the marketing agencies tell us we have to have an avatar and they have to look like our client is, right? And we have to market to that client. You know what that avatar is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're bringing that knowledge and that ability straight to your clients. They're not having to educate you on that. You've already got that down pat.
Absolutely. And we've got a great network as well. So it's not just knowing the difference between a yachty and a powerboat owner and knowing the difference between an outboard and a stern drive and all the different types of boats. It's about knowing what do these people want, how do they use their boats, where are they using their boats, and what are they wanting to, like, what is it that they really need, and how do you help them understand that need and get those products to them really easily and efficiently. And for us, we've got great partners in the industry, we've got great connections. We've traveled the world. We go and do the boat shows. We're not sitting in some office somewhere, maybe looking out at a boat. It's actually, no, we're out here walking the docks. We live and breathe the industry, and that's the real value add that we can have. So our clients can trust that we are out here, we're listening to the gossip.
Yeah.
We're part of it. We're living it and breathing it, so they don't have to bring us up to speed. And if anything, hopefully we could help enlighten them and share some new information that they may not be aware of.
That's fantastic. I love it. And I think it's a real, for someone that has been in the boating industry for quite some time now, it is an absolute, I obviously within our Empire Marinas group, I am the marketing chick, right?
Yeah.
and I get the stuff out there and you see me do what I do and all those sorts of things. And but I still have to keep very much on top of what the market wants and what I should be giving to the market and what I should be changing. And I don't assume that I'm doing the right thing. I do actually keep an eye on what other people are doing and going, oh, that's good. I like that. And adapting it to the way that I can in our business, both at Empire Marinas Group and the Boat Princess, and of course now Freedom Boat Club. So it's an exciting space. I mean, we get to do photo shoots that are just so damn cool, right?
Absolutely. I mean, marketing is fun.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this chore. It's supposed to be creative. It's to think about, for a lot of the times I think about, what would I like to see?
Yeah.
Like what is really cool and exciting, and what can I do? And you don't have to, go crazy. You can just go, no, this is really fun. This is cool. Let's enjoy it and have a great time. And when you do that, it resonates through what you deliver. People see it. They go, wow, I want to be part of that. How can I?
Yes, exactly right.
It just attracts them. It's like a magnet.
Yeah. And look, it's an amazing place to be attracted to. I still, every time I come down to here, work at Empire Marina Bobbin Head, I still have to pinch myself that this is the paradise that I get to work in.
Oh, it is stunning here. It is so beautiful.
And, I literally drive up to the marina and I think, oh, that's a great Instagram shot. And I can take that shot and post it immediately and so on and so forth. We are so lucky in the boating industry to have that total Instagrammable, total get it out there image of lifestyle. I mean, compared to, say, I don't know, somebody being an insurance broker at home, yeah?
Yep.
And they're thinking every day, okay, what am I going to use today, right? Whereas we just literally walk into a marina and go, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Wow, let's just do that today.
It's part of the reason why I love this industry so much is one part is the people, and you meet some fantastic people here because the industry is built on passion. People aren't buying a boat unless they're, commercial fishermen, but they're not buying a boat to make money. They're buying it because that's where they want to spend their time. They've worked really hard. They want to go enjoy life. Why not do it out on the ocean? So you've got that part and the people in the industry, but also the places where the boats are. They're always beautiful. It's always magical. And like you say, you do pinch yourself, whether you're at a boat show or you're just visiting a marina out in Bobbin Head and you're coming down the road and you're like, what is this place? My goodness. No, it is so special. And this is why, because you get to have these moments and experiences and you work really hard. So, you might as well enjoy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk. I know that people may have heard a little bit of your story in my other podcast that we spoke to you. So if you haven't heard that, guys, just go back to my other episode where I've spoken to Nona and we talk about how she got into where she was at PropSpeed. But I want to talk about now, you've been in the boating industry as a female for a while now.
8 years.
8 years.
Well, it's actually 8.5 now, coming up 9. Wow. Nearly a decade.
But I know you came into it as a non-boating industry person.
Yep.
And I know at the start of your career, you therefore walked into boat shows, being a perfect example, events at boat shows, all those sorts of things. Tell me about that feeling for you when you first came into the boating industry.
I think it was a mixed bag. I mean, my first proper international boat show, I was very lucky. It was Fort Lauderdale. So it is it's the boat show. You have just this, it's overwhelming. It's larger than life. But it was very intimidating walking in there. And at that age, I was only 23 years old. And it was like, okay, wow, this is a different world that I'm experiencing, very different from New Zealand. And you go in there and you start talking and these people look at you saying, is she speaking English? They look very concerned and then they just nod and you realise I don't think they understand me. Maybe I should talk a bit slower. The classic Kiwi accent tripping them up, especially when I said the word deck. They didn't like that. They were very shocked at that one. I was like, get on this boat and I'm like, wow, what a big, beautiful deck. And just silence, looks of mortification. And then they figured it out and they're like, oh, she's a Kiwi. Okay, we've got it.
She means the wooden bit that we're walking on. Yeah.
Exactly. So lots of laughs, but It was, it was scary. I'm not going to lie, especially the boat show was good. It was fun. Had some great experiences, some where I just got blatantly ignored, which happens when you're a woman working on the boat show and they go, oh, you're just a promo girl, you don't know anything. And I'm like, bring it on, try me. But the big one was the networking events, which are so important to do, and you have to do them. And I walked into these rooms and I looked around and everyone was 30 years older than me and basically ignored me. And so you're standing there going, oh my gosh, I think I just want to run away to my hotel room and hide. But my little brain in the back was saying, no, you need to be here. You can work this room. You can do this. So I looked around for the most friendliest face I could find, and I think I found one woman, and I was like, she's going to be my friend. But yeah, it's, if you don't have that kind of personality, or you don't want to put yourself out there, or you don't have a great support network. So I also had a great team who connected me with the right people, and I could go from there. But it's really scary. And that was, like I say, that was about 8 years ago that I had that. And now, even when I did Mets last year, the industry has changed so much.
Yeah.
There's a lot more women in the room. We did the woman in marine panel, which was fantastic.
Yes.
And just seeing the turnout, amazing, men and women as well, which was really cool. But definitely seeing that change now has been fantastic, seeing a lot more women in the room, but also the men there are so much more welcoming. They think it's great, even if you're young, any age, any background or ethnicity. They're like, it's great that you're here. Tell me your story. Tell me what you do. It's definitely changing, which is a good thing, but there are still those moments where you go, oh no.
So you're absolutely right. The number of women in the room at any conference, any event we go to now, it's much, much bigger than it used to be. I remember going to the Marinas conference. That would have been in like 2017, something like that. And there was about 10 women and there was 200 men.
Yep.
Or maybe even 300 men. And we all sort of huddled in the corner and talked to each
Collect
other.
together, safety in numbers.
But now that number is much greater. But I think it is important that we let the women listening know that it is just a case of having that confidence to go and talk to people and discuss things with people, because the guys, I don't know about you, but the guys in the boating industry, a lot of them have been so incredibly supportive
Absolutely.
to me and lifted me up in this industry. So, it's finding those people to surround yourself with, whether they be female or male, that you actually, I guess, create your own tribe and feel those people that are going to help lift you and help you be what you want to be in this industry. So I think that's an important message we have to get out to the women out there. And that's why we do the events that you came to at Sanctuary Cove this year, which are the Boat Princess networking events of women in the boating industry and beyond. What did you think of that event this year?
One, I was just trying to get in the door because it was so packed. I was like, oh, wow, like this is a turnout. Hello, ladies. No, it was great. And it was also great to see that it wasn't just because, I mean, my background's marketing and I love that, but it wasn't just marketing people.
Yeah.
There were women there that run boatyards,
yes,
that run, these industrial heavy equipment businesses. And I'm like, wow,
yes,
that is cool.
Yeah.
And you do this. And they're like, yeah, I do. And I think that was the big thing for me, was seeing the variety of women from all different backgrounds, all different businesses. You had insurance, you had boatyards, you had marine equipment, you had marinas, you had everything. And I think that and beyond really helped it. And even, just people that just love boats. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we're all here. That's why we're all working, is to get more people into boating, to enjoy it and to love it. And if you can spend your life doing something that you enjoy, then what a great life. And going to that event and a few of the other women in marine industry events I've been to, it's been fantastic to see the response and turn up, not only of women, but also the men. I was really, really like, that was what gave me like the kind of the goosebumps, is seeing these great men out there really championing for it. And they're the ones that have helped change and grow the industry the way it has been, as you say. As you look around the room now, it's a lot more diverse.
Absolutely, it really is.
Which is fantastic, and it's the way it should be.
Yeah. I loved at the event this year at Sanctuary Cove, we had companies like Tellwater that sent a complete range of their team. So females from every part of their business were there at that event. And that really thrilled me because, often when we do events like that, say the person that's at the head of the business is the only one that goes, right? But in actual fact, we need women from different positions within the companies to see that, because if they don't see the CEOs and the business owners and so on, they won't see that they can be that, right?
Absolutely. It's showing them that you don't have to just be in this space. You could be, you can wear a different hat. If you want to be the CEO one day, you absolutely can. And there's a lot of women out there that are being, living their best boss lives. It's if you don't want to climb the rank in that company, or you want to, you join another company, or you start your own, you can do that. There's nothing stopping you. And I think that's like hearing that. I mean, it was the same at Sanctuary Cove. I took my graphic designer. Who takes a graphic designer to a boat show? I do, because she's going to be designing a lot of the displays for our clients. Yeah. But I also wanted her to touch, feel, and see it, and understand that it's so much more than just, a job. It's literally, the industry is so much fun. There's so much opportunity. You can be so much more, and we can do so much more here. And I want them, my team, to have their own network. I don't want it to be just about me or about Chris. The business isn't based around one person. It's all of us. And I encourage them all to grow. And I'm like, if you want to do something else, let's talk. Yeah. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. I love that. That's so good. But I was really thrilled with the abundance of women in the room, but also the abundance of talent and skill. And there was just, it was
everyone.
Goosebumpy, wasn't it?
It was so
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, it was so cool. And I think if companies out there have got any sense, it's actually really important to send women that work in your team to those events. They don't have to be management, because women are very clever at becoming friends with other women in the industry. And of course, we then all refer business to each other. So, you might actually get a fender sale in a marina out of somebody because they've sent their admin team to my event, and I've spoken to them and said, actually, you need some fixed marinas at my fenders at my marina. Can we sort that out? Yep. Yeah. So it's I think it's actually something we need to talk about, that get women that work in your teams to events. Don't just, as the CEO, say, oh no, I'll go to that. Take other people with you as well, and also perhaps send somebody else instead of you. If you can't do it, then say, well, I'll send. No. Whoever else you want to send along to get that amazing impact in the room, because women can often have an amazing impact on other people in the room.
Absolutely. I mean, women we're very social.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So talking of impact of women in the room, you mentioned that you were on the Mets panel last year, which I am very excited to say I am going to be on this year, which is super exciting.
I'm excited to see you on the stage. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic.
But tell me about that experience for you.
Terrifying. A lot of imposter syndrome to get me up on that stage. No, it was, when Michelle Goldsmith reached out to me, I was like, absolutely, yes, I'd love to share my story, mainly because I hope I could help other women. But then I realized the company that I was in, and I was like, oh wow, I've got some heavy hitters up here. When I was on that, I was the General Manager of PropSpeed. So from the bottom of the world, with my gold paint that goes on propellers, surrounded by, Volvo and Beneteau and Freedom Boat Club. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? But they were all fantastic. They made me feel part of the team and everything. And the big thing for me was the turnout. I think that was we were all kind of nervous, like, are people going to come? But of course they were, because Michelle was behind it. So everyone had no option, but they had to. No, it was fantastic. It was a great experience being able to share my story and hear the stories of the other women. But also it was lovely to look out, and it wasn't just women who turned up. There were a lot of men there supporting. But the big thing for me was afterwards. So I went back to my stand and put on my hat to do my day job, and the number of women that came down to the PropSpeed stand and found me and said, can I give you a hug?
Oh,
I was like,
lovely.
Oh, I love hugs, yes. I know it's COVID, but still hugs. And it was so lovely having them share their stories, having them thank me for getting up there on stage, and knowing that, yeah, it's scary when you're sitting up there in front of a room full of people and the video is being live streamed and it's on the internet forever.
Yes.
But it was a great experience, very empowering. But like I said, it was fantastic to have these other women come up to me, share their stories, and connect on LinkedIn afterwards, and even some on Facebook and Instagram. And, they are part of the network. And when I say to someone, yeah, let's catch up, we might only see each other once a year, but a friendly face in a room makes the world a lot less lonely, especially when you are traveling overseas and you go somewhere and you're like, oh, I'm alone. Is there someone here that's familiar? And you go, I know you. That's also why you do it as well. And if I can help other women and they help me, then, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, I've just been to ICOMIA Congress in Italy. I know somebody had to go. And that's the trouble with the boating industry. All the boats are in such ugly places.
It's
not. So we, and I'm sitting there on tables with, the people that create Pardo yachts, and the people create Armel yachts, and just heavy hitters in the industry that are my friends. And that is just, it's a very special thing to actually enjoy that. And as you say, we only see each other once a year, but it's such a love that I have friends literally all over the world that are friends within the industry that Darren and I have created. And it's so lovely to see them again, catch up with them again, find out where their businesses are doing and all that sort of thing, and find out what the feeling is about the industry in different parts of the world, because it's very different to Australia and New Zealand as a market. We are totally different to what Europe is doing, to what the US is doing, all of those. So it's actually incredible to have those friends all over the world, isn't it? We're very lucky.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those, again, I go back to why I love this industry so much is the people, whether they're using the boats and buying the boats or whether they're supplying and building the boats. Everyone in here, they're doing it for a reason, and it's driven by passion. And that's the thing that gets me out of bed. It's the reason why we started the business, is if we can help other businesses in the marine industry grow and succeed and learn from some of the lessons, I won't say mistakes, lessons that we've made, and they can, they get that kind of, they don't have to make those mistakes that we did, then that's all the better for it, right? That helps strengthen those connections. And yeah, it is wonderful when you've got friends around the world and you say, come stay with me down in New Zealand, and they're like, come stay with me up here in Europe. It's just fantastic. It's a wonderful place where you can do work, and you can work really hard and it pays off, but also you can make some really great friendships.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, just a quick reminder that Sydney Boat Show is coming up very soon. It is on Thursday the 3rd to Sunday the 6th of August. Do not miss it this year. They have confirmed 209 boats on the water alone. So it's going to be a great show, a variety of so many different brands to see. And August is usually amazing in Sydney, so it should be really good weather too, and we can all have some fun on the water at Darling Harbour. So I look forward to seeing you there. You will be able to find myself at the Freedom Boat Club stand, which as you come into the marina from the Darling Harbour side and turn right, you'll see the Freedom Boat Club stand there, very close to Majesty Yachts. So I look forward to seeing you guys there and catching up. We are, of course, doing our Women in the Boating Industry and Beyond event at the boat show. This time it will be Thursday morning from 8:30 till 10:30 a.m. at the Freedom Boat Club stand. You do need to buy tickets for that though, so make sure you get one of those from our link at theboatprincess.com.
So talking about friendships, you've gone into this business with a partner in Chris Baird. Why did you think Chris would bring something different to your business? What do you think? I mean, obviously, well, tell us about his level of experience. He's got a massive level of experience in this industry. So give us some insight into that first.
Absolutely. So I knew, number one, my age was going against me. And number two, my gender. And I get that. And also the fact that I've only worked with one marine company. And so when we started it, it was very much what can we do in terms of the marketing side? But I knew that the business needed to be so much more, because marketing should be across every part of the business. And so by bringing Chris in to become joint CEO with me, it added this whole new layer of experience, of expertise, and of offerings that we could give to our clients. So I could talk about my experiences that I've had, but he has far more than what I have. And he has that real experience of growing businesses from really small, the grassroots type arrangement, through to, selling them and having those businesses acquired by big corporates. And so Chris he's worked for Navman and he's worked for Fusion.
Oh, I remember Fusion. I remember when Chris was working from Fusion, because my boys were most upset when they went up to the stand for the green alien and they'd run out. And I said, it's okay, we'll see if we've got some good connections. And we went back up and they'd hidden a couple behind in the stand. And my boys were like, oh, thank goodness for that.
You did an alien.
It was actually such a clever marketing ploy, that one.
Yep. And also taking it from the green aliens, where Chris famously says they sold over 1 million aliens. Those aliens are everywhere. But taking it from that fantastic, iconic brand, the green and all that, and then transforming it and elevating the Fusion brand from these crazy guys with the aliens to this premium product, releasing the Apollo brand. Those are the kind of experiences that Chris can share with others of, we can start here and make it a very memorable brand. But if we want to take it to the next level and elevate the business and the brand from being these guys selling aliens to, oh, wow, we're now on 80% of the boats that are manufactured in Europe.
I don't think of anything else for boats. Yeah.
And so that takes a lot of, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of, kind of guts to do that and go, no, we are going to position ourselves to be the premium number one, and we're absolutely going to do it. And seeing, again, identified a gap in the market. A lot of the marine stereo systems out there were just car stereos with a white faceplate.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so really working on the engineering, great product, and then marketing it at that level. And those are the sorts of things that Chris brings. And I also lovingly joke that sometimes when you just need to roll in an old white guy, I have that too.
And fair enough too.
Because if I have to chew someone's ear off for an hour, or he says, we do this, it's great, talk to Nona, and it's within 5 minutes we've won someone, I'm all for that, whatever's easier. At the end of the day, what it means is our clients get the very best. It means that, you've got Chris's experience and guidance, which is always fantastic. I fondly call him my guinea pig, because if he can understand something that we create, it means that anyone or our demographic can.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's little things like making sure that if we create an ad, can he read it?
Yes.
Can he, without his glasses on, understand just briefly what are we trying to achieve with this? What's the purpose of this? And if he can't get it, it means we've done something wrong and we need to relook at it. Because again, it goes back to understanding the market. Who are you
really
talking
does.
to?
Yeah, because my sister used to work for a really big advertising agency when she was young. And we'd sometimes watch, in those days when you used to watch TV that had ads on it, we'd watch the TV and we'd say, oh, that ad that's really not, and she'd say, it's not targeted at you. Yep. It's targeted at the person they want to sell the whatever it is. So you've literally got to target your advertising to your market precisely, haven't you?
Absolutely. You need to know where are they spending their time and what is it that they're looking for, and to use the right terminology. If you're not using the right words in the right place, then there's no point. And as you say, is for someone else, they might go, oh, that's awful. But for the person you're targeting, they're like, that's perfect. It's the greatest ad. And it comes down to just, as long as you're focusing on who is it that you're wanting to target, who is the real customer here, and it doesn't matter about someone else as long as they get it.
Yeah. So how do you work as an agency? How do people engage you? What sort of scope can you do from tiniest amounts to big amounts? How does that work?
Yeah, so we're kind of in startup phase a little bit, but the way it works is we are essentially a full service marketing agency. The only thing we don't do is web development, like back end.
Yep. Web
development, we'll leave that to the really smart technical guys. Everything from graphic design to digital marketing, to even just helping with event planning, anything that's the traditional marketing, which is all about how do we get your product in front of more people and create the sense of urgency, bring them through the funnel and generate leads and ultimately convert them, we can do. So we've got the marketing side. That's what we affectionately call the backbone of the business. That's our base. And then we've also got things like our strategic sessions. So for a lot of companies, they kind of know what they're doing, but some days when they wake up in the morning, they're not sure if they're going to turn left or right. And so we can help them with strategic plans that are easy for them to use and understand, especially when businesses start getting a little bit like, oh no, the wheels are wobbling. We're not sure where we're supposed to go. We're feeling very overwhelmed. We can give them that focus and that structure that they need. So those are what we can do with our strategic sessions. We can help with business development. So again, leveraging our international network. And this is where more Chris can help out, is going, okay, you're wanting to take on the US market. You're an Australian manufacturer. You want to target the USA. You're not targeting the USA. You're going to Fort Lauderdale in Florida. And this is how you're going to do it. So we can help in that sense, and not only just tell someone what to do, but make those introductions, do the research, find out who is going to be your best partner in that market. And this is where you need to invest your time. So we can help in terms of that. And then lastly, we also help companies if they are looking towards an exit. So again, that's more Chris's space, is becoming a bit of a marine business brokerage, essentially. And what that means is a lot of the times, a lot of business owners haven't really thought about an exit, or they may have, but they've thought, oh, that's years down the track. That's still 5 years away. Well, now is actually a really good time to start thinking about that, because there's a lot of work that you need to do in order to prepare a business for a sale. And so that's also the kind of thing that we offer. But again, everything that we do is all marine focused. It's all about the marine industry. We've targeted this little niche area, but it's because it's the place that we know and we love. And again, we saw this gap where there's a few people out there doing it, and some of them are our strategic partners. So we've got a PR agency in the USA. They're fantastic. Rush and Gregory, sneaky plug. They're US based, but they are the best because they are solely marine focused. They know all the marine media players. They get the best coverage. And so for our clients, we'd say, if you need to do PR, this is who you talk to. We won't get into that. We'll help you in terms of creating content for them and creating a story, but we'll let them handle that sort of stuff. So we're kind of all around the advertising, content creation. You can do your social media stuff. We can do events and helping you with actually just executing a boat show, because there's a lot that goes into a boat show. It's not just, we've got some pull-up banners and we turn up.
Yep.
It's all about the preparation, letting people know you're going to be there. What are you offering? And presenting yourself in the best possible way. So, yeah, that's kind of what we do. It's essentially, the way I like to fondly call it is like, we're like your marketing team. So imagine that you've got a marketing manager, a graphic designer, digital marketing people here to help you into it, like as if we're an extension of your team, essentially. So we work in with businesses to make sure that what we create is exactly what they need.
That's so cool. And I think you found a real niche in that. I know myself, there's a lot of mature people that own boating industry businesses, and they don't understand how to put a graphic together or how to put an Instagram post together, and they don't really understand what to do with it or where to put it or how on earth does Google AdWords work, all those sorts of things. They don't have expertise in that space, and you can bring that. So in actual fact, your youth is on your side in that case.
It absolutely is. But also it's about helping them rather than saying, oh, we need to do this, this, and this. And it gets very overwhelming. It's yeah, we can have a good mix of things, but it's all about, again, going back to, where is your customer? Where are they spending their time? A lot of the times an Instagram page or a Facebook page is mainly for validation. Mm-hmm. It's mainly to make you seem more authentic and trustworthy. It's where people will go, oh, yep, yeah, they've got an Instagram page, they're active, it means they are a real company. And that's great, and you need to have that. But if you're going to focus a lot of your efforts, it's where are your clients actually, like your customers, spending their time? Are they in the yacht club still, or are they,
reading Ocean magazine?
Yeah.
Or
are they spending time just on the boat reading the magazine because they're so connected in their normal day-to-day job when they're on the boat? That's their calm down time where they do pick up a magazine and they read, and they like that tangible feeling.
Yeah. Which a lot of boaters still do.
Absolutely.
They really do. Yeah.
Well, boating time usually is when you switch off the phone.
Yeah.
And you disconnect from the world and you're present, and you go, oh, I wonder what's going on, and flick through the latest boating magazine. And
because I know Hillary from Ocean magazine just did one of her biggest magazines she's ever done. So that is a perfect example of how the boating market is still interested in print and the Afloat magazine. Oh my goodness. It comes into the marina. It's a free magazine that people literally come into reception. Where's the Afloat? It's already run out. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So boaters do love a certain amount of print still. So it's interesting how you can direct your client to what you think they actually need, rather than all the pressures that they're getting from everybody else out there telling them, oh, they've got to post 3 times on Instagram a day, and blah, blah, blah. It's completely irrelevant for their market.
Absolutely.
Sometimes. So
absolutely. It's where are they going to get the information, and where are they spending their time? And it does depend on the type of business you have. But if you're a very specific business that provides, as an example, if someone wants to buy a new engine for their boat, that's a rarity, but it happens. And so when it happens, they're going to go usually to their mate and say, hey, what are you running in your boat? But they'll go to the forums, they'll look online, they'll do their research, and then they'll make a decision. So it's all about, how can you make that decision as easy as possible? How do they find out what is going to be the right one for my boat? And is it going to work? And what do I need to do to make it work? And what does this mean for the boat in terms of, the future? And it's like, okay, well, I probably wouldn't be putting all of my time and effort onto these beautiful Instagram posts. Yeah, they're great, but what I need to be doing is spending time on these forums and making sure that the information that they need is readily available, and they're not having to really work for it.
Yeah, and a really good YouTube video explaining that engine and why it's good and so on and so forth.
Yep. And having someone else say it, not you,
yes,
is even more important. Having a third party validator and go, yes, this works. This is how it works. It will work in this type of boat or that type of boat. And that's where you do spend your time and resources.
Yeah. Amazing. So your point of difference really is your knowledge of this industry that you're bringing to it, both with Chris and yourself. I think that's amazing because I think this industry really needs somebody like you to do that for them. I do think we need a bit of a push into a modern world in the marketing space, in the boating industry. She's nodding at me and smiling at me at the moment.
Yes.
She's being very polite.
Yes. Yes.
So that is something we really. So I think you've been very clever. I mean, always knew you were a very bright spark, my love, but that you've been very clever in picking that niche and understanding that there is it's a bit of a big need out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's not, there are some great marketing agencies and providers out there. Absolutely. But if you have someone who understands boats, who is going to be at the boat shows anyway, whether on, no matter what, they're there and they're turning up, that's advantageous for our clients.
Most definitely.
And it's part of our commitment to them.
Yeah. I love that. That's so good. So where do you think the future of boating is when we're talking about, the industry needing a bit of a push in a certain direction or all those sorts of, obviously a lot of boaters now are mature. Unfortunately, not everybody lives forever. That's the saddest thing about life. So we need to tap into our younger market coming through, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think during COVID we were lucky enough to tap into a lot more people than we have done in the past because
who knew a pandemic would bring boating back?
I know, right? Because it was a safe thing to do. It was a good thing to do. It gave people that sense of getting away when they couldn't get away, which is amazing. And it also, I think COVID has done a very good thing in bringing people back to a little bit of it was a little bit of realization for a lot of people that life doesn't go on forever and that it could change any minute now. So let's do the things we want to do now. And that was another thing that brought a lot, and still is. We're still getting a lot of people coming into boating because they are saying, well, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? I'm going to enjoy this life while I've got it, right?
Yep.
So what do you think we need to do as an industry? It's a big question coming. What do you think we need to do as an industry to bring that younger and more diverse audience and clientele into the boating lifestyle?
I think for me it comes down to accessibility and making boating more accessible to people who haven't had an early introduction through parents or grandparents or through their childhood, is to make it easier to take away the barriers that are there. And if you can take away, the cost barriers, if you can take away the oh my gosh, how do I drive a boat? I wouldn't know where to start, let alone getting it into the marina berth or getting it out of the marina berth. There's a lot of those sorts of things, and I think a lot of people go, oh, I'd love to, but that's way too hard or scary for me. And so it's how do we remove those barriers and increase accessibility? And the way I think it could be done is through community, through boat clubs, through others helping, people that are in the industry today, helping, getting more people in, because ultimately the more people that you get into the boating, we all win. That's what we need. Is we can't have the boating industry to literally die and have it with, people are dying and the younger generation don't want to get into it, and we have all these beautiful boats out there that, they're not that hard to use. And with technology now, there's sensors and cameras and joysticks. It's, it doesn't have to be that scary. And so it's all about education, Safety is important too. That's a big factor, but that comes down to teaching them this is how you do it safely, giving them access to boats. That's a big one, and that's where boat clubs come in, or the boat sharing syndicates. All that sort of stuff is, it's hard to justify the cost of a boat if it's just you and you don't have a lot of time for it. Again, a lot of people travel, they spend their time elsewhere. They wouldn't even know what it takes to maintain a boat or how to do it correctly, which, again, we know is very important. And so I think it comes down to the accessibility side of things. So giving more people access to boats, taking away those barriers to enter, making it friendly. I mean, you go into a boat club and it is a friendly place, but if you aren't familiar, it can be quite intimidating till you sit down and you start talking to someone and you realize as soon as you get them starting talking about their boat, you're best mates.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not that hard, but it just takes that leap of faith, I guess, to get in.
Yeah. I mean, I think what's lovely about boating is that it is a whole bunch of people that have the same passion. So striking up a conversation is a very easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I think that's what's like. And I think the other lovely thing about boating is that it is still a community and we are still helping each other. And I think that's what you and I are out there to do, help people be educated on, I mean, you're doing it in the marketing space, I'm doing it in the podcast space, in the marina space, in the boat club space, getting people to understand how damn good this lifestyle is.
It's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. We're pretty lucky. And like I say, all the big, beautiful boat shows, they're in beautiful places. So, and again, where you keep your boat, where you take your boat is always somewhere beautiful. And you'll meet people and they're there and they're just happy. They're in their happy place. And so you do make friends and you can, have a great community around you, whether it's in the marina or it's at, in the boat club or down at the boat ramp, where sometimes it can be a little bit crazy, but and a little bit tense, and it's a bit more like trauma bonding. But, at the end of the day, you're all there because you want to be out on the water and you want to be enjoying it.
Yeah.
I mean,
amazing.
It's just amazing.
Yeah, amazing. So, what's the dream for Yes? Where do you are you going for perfume bottle? London, New York. Well, what's the dream?
The dream. Oh my gosh. I guess the dream would be to have a set of clients that are achieving their goals faster and quicker. That's what it's not so much for me and not so much about the business. We don't really want to make a big, crazy, scary business that we have to manage. We like having an intimate team. It's not something, we don't want to grow this into some big beast. And if it might, then someone can buy it. Yeah. We can absolutely sell the business. But for now, the main dream is to take our clients on this journey and have them winning, because ultimately they're a reflection of us. And if I can walk through a boat show or flick through a magazine and I see my client and someone's just like raving about their product or they're winning an award, that to me is success. It means that I contributed towards that. I did something that helped make this better and be better, and then ultimately their customers are happier, so everyone's winning. And that's what success really looks like for me.
What a good way to end this podcast. So good talking to you, Nona. Thank you so much for coming down to my marina to talk to me today.
Thank you, Nikki. It's so great to be here, and you can have me anytime.
I know, it's a terrible place to go, isn't it?
I don't think I want to leave.
So thanks everyone for listening. It's lovely to have your ears. Nona Pederson, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you on the water soon. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Boat Princess podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you'd like to know more about what I do and where I am, then you can follow me on Instagram at The Boat Princess. You can also sign up to my newsletter on my website, which is theboatprincess.com. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you on the water soon.